Hello, guys. Perfect. Sorry for the initial delay. How are you? How's everyone doing? Mark, Manan, great to have you here.
Hey, great to be here.
Great to be here too.
Perfect. Yeah, we are just inviting everyone else. So as a start, maybe let's have a quick intro round. So maybe Manan, Mark, one of you wants to start, and then we can kind of dive further into the topics of today.
I can go on, and then maybe Mark can continue. Hello, everyone. I'm Manan Patel. Until recently, I was the head of growth at Ocean Protocol. I have been in blockchain space since about like 2016, so I have seen a lot until now, and really excited about the future of blockchain, especially on the Metaverse side and data side. Mark, you're up.
Yeah, I have mic issue, but yeah. So I'm Mark. I'm the integration lead at Aave. We are lead liquidity protocol on Ethereum, Polygon, and Avalanche, and soon other networks. And we help people supply assets and take liquidity seamlessly and in a permissionless and decentralized way. And we are part of what we call decentralized finance.
Perfect. I see we also have now Marcus on the stage from Sandbox. Hey, Marcus, how are you?
Hey everyone, sorry for being late. I had to wrap up another meeting. Excited to be here.
Perfect. Just doing intro rounds. So if you like, you could just kind of continue quickly introduction of yourself, and yeah, then we can add the other people to the stage.
Yes, of course, sure. Again, thank you for having me. My name is Marcus. I'm the marketing director at the Sandbox, which is a decentralized virtual world based, built on the Ethereum blockchain. And we are right now ramping up to release our baby that we've been working on for the last couple of years to the world, with the alpha launching next Monday. I am also the co-founder of a NFT play to earn game called Rumble Kong League. So there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, great. I think it's definitely an amazing, different angles that we have here today. We have the Sandbox, we have Aave, we have former Ocean Protocol, so kind of a convergence of DeFi data as well as the Metaverse. I also see we now have Sagar, Lucas, Yusuf on stage. One of you guys would like to do a quick intro?
Hi guys, great to be here again. Thanks, Nico. Myself, we co-founded the Meta Game Hub around March, April. Got interested in the space first through smart contracts and all the possibilities we can go through there. The internet being really the last biggest revolution. We also agreed on the same vision that what blockchain has to offer, smart contracts, Dataverse, Metaverse, are really the next step after the internet into a new revolution, so to speak, and especially coming now in the time where data privacy and there's a lot going on around these topics, and we really found the way now to converge all of these new wonders into something that will give power back to the people, so to speak, whether ownership through NFTs or ownership of data through Ocean and then marketplaces, through like the virtual world. Hello, Sebastien. I see Seb just joined as well.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, we're starting to have blue crosses in our NFT spaces, in our Twitter spaces. It's growing. So yes, I give you back the words, Lucas. So Seb, we are introducing ourselves. Go ahead, si tu veux faire une petite introduction.
Hi guys, Sagar is here from Block Rocket. So basically, we are based out of Germany, and we are like early stage startup investor. We invested to like €500,000 in terms of like blockchain-based startups. And I'm looking after all venture development kind of activities. And yeah, really looking forward to listen the Metaverse things. And yeah, happy to contribute. And thanks, Nicholas, for the invitation.
Hello.
Hey guys. Hi, I'm Jean. I'm logged in with the MGH account, but I'm also with my actual account as Jean Fire. I'm so happy that we are all here today, and I want us to just keep the introductions going, but let's keep them short. Let's also mention what we're interested in. I mean, the team is here. Lucas, I don't think Camilo's also in the group. If you guys want to say something, let me know. This is an open forum. This is an open conversation. No question is beyond us. We're all here to learn. We're all here to understand. Anyone that says they understand the entire space 100% is not really telling the truth. We're here to support each other and grow with each other. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep it open. Okay? Would you like to say something?
I think Seb wanted also to say something, but we interrupted a couple of times.
No, hello everyone. I guess as a quick way of introduction, nice to meet you all.
Hi.
Glad to be part of
Yes.
this open space today. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm one of the founders at the Sandbox, which is creating an open metaverse where we empower users and creators. We let them create their own NFTs and the game experience and monetize it through NFTs and sand token. We have bring many brands and IP into the Sandbox. Some of them include Walking Dead, Snoop Dogg. Recently, there's been an announcement, a teaser, I would say more, with Adidas. That announcement will come soon. We have a growing community, a fantastic community of landowners, more than 15,000 today, growing rapidly. We have a fantastic community of creators as well, using our different creation tools on the platform, Vox Edit or the Game Maker. And well, we are excited to see now within the Sandbox ecosystem appear DAOs like the Metagame DAO today.
Thank you so much, Sebastien, for gracing us with your presence today. What you've accomplished is amazing. Thank you for being here. Andy, happy to see you again.
Hi, good to hear you.
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're excited about, let the people know.
No problem, no problem.
Who we have in our midst.
No problem. I'm trying to connect my mic. So anyways, if you can hear me, I'm Andy. I'm based in Singapore right now. I am the chairperson for Big One Exchange, currently ranked top 40 globally. So for myself, I'm always an innovator. You know, I talked to a lot of different governments about Metaverse in the past, and I'm really happy to see Metaverses coming into the mainstream in 2021, you know. So on our end, from an exchange front and also on a personal level, including some of our network of venture capitalists, you know, we are all heavily putting our mind, our soul, and our money into Metaverse. So happy to meet everyone and hope to interact more, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Very impressive. We're very proud that we are surrounded by people that have the right vision and are not just growing with the space, but also actively seeking for a better future for it, right? Because a lot of people look at the metaverse as a concept that is set in the future when it's something that is affecting us every day. It's already bringing people closer together, building new communities, giving people hope in regards to what's possible, what's out there, and also giving all the digital innovation a space to exist. Having said that, I think Nicholas had technical difficulties, but he's back. Hold on 1 second. I hope that works.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry, guys. My phone somehow broke down. But yeah, it's great to see everyone here and have such a big round and to kind of talk a bit about the, convergence of the metaverse also with the Dataverse. So I'm also happy to see, experts from that area here today. Kind of the first question into the open round, and I hope that we basically finish the introductions. If not, then just raise your voice in that sense. The first kind of question in the round would be, how far will the ongoing, let's say, metaverse trend go, and what are kind of the next milestones? What I hear from, within the space, that especially also in-game assets now within the metaverse are really becoming increasingly relevant. I mean, the Meta Flower Yacht from Republic Realms sold for like 149 ETH the other day. So there's definitely still other trends apart from, let's say, the main currency or the lands, right, that are emerging. But yeah, happy to hear the guys' take, what you guys think about kind of how far this current trend will go and what are kind of the next things to look forward to.
If nobody wants to go first, I can go first. Speaking maybe from a more broader sense, is that when we look at the yes. Michael, if you want to answer, go ahead. If not, I will just reply from the sandbox. Is that
Let's not be shy, guys.
Enlighten me
on
some of the things about the quantum computers that can hack Web 2.0.
Michael, could you start? Okay, let's take it from the top. So Nicholas asked the question.
Basically, my question was making data algorithms work with the decentralized protocols, and basically to put a data into protocol and algorithms that protect them from cyber attacks and things of that nature.
Michael, I would love to get into.
But if anyone has anything
your question
to enlighten me with quantum computing.
Okay, I'd love to get into your question, Michael, and we definitely will. But there's already a question on the floor in regards to possibilities with the metaverse and current developments that I feel like we should address before we continue. But there was like a little awkward silence because everyone is a little shy, but that's okay. We'll break the ice. I think Sebastien wanted to say something about what's exciting in the sandbox space and what the next steps there are, because they are a giant in the space and they have proven over and over again that decentralization is important to them and that they have the ability to bridge the gap between the world we have outside and the world we are building in the open metaverse. So Sebastien, would you like to answer the question?
I think Sebastien disconnected. I can answer the question. It's speaking on the sandbox we have as well. And yes, sorry for the awkward silence initially, but you know how that is. So on the sandbox, so we are like all year, like 2021 was a crazy year, I think, for everyone working in the space when it comes to NFTs, DAOs, like just anything Web 3.0. And one thing that we've seen on the sandbox is when it comes less to bridging this gap between physical and digital, is that we've really seen more acceptance around what type of other utility can you bring to NFTs. Because I remember earlier this year, NFTs to the general audience or to the general mindset was really, hey, it's a digital art piece that the artists can use to sell their art or bring it to address a new audience. However, what we've seen over the last couple of months is that the attention is really moving towards utility and what can you do beyond just holding an asset. And you see that as well in the NFT space. For the sandbox, we are in a unique situation where any asset that is created in our ecosystem will have use cases inside our platform. And we see that across the metrics, across our user base, that there's a lot of interest around just building something that is based on NFTs and that is like there's around true ownership of whoever created it. We see that we have while our platform is not live yet for players, this will happen next Monday with the Sandbox Alpha. We already have work in progress tools that are available for everyone to download for free, which are called Vox Edit and Game Maker. And on here, we see that the attention is there. Users want to build something that can be used in the metaverse, and there are no boundaries, whether it's a game, whether it's an experience, whether it's a museum, whether it's a yacht that is being like the Republic example that you brought up. And I expect this in the coming month and years to be really to be more persistent, and that creators really will start building for use cases and utility. Like the Republic yacht is just one example, but looking at the Sandbox, we recently crossed 15,000 unique landowners, and not every one of them will be able or will have the skill set to build something on their land. So there is a blue ocean for creators to produce something and create something that can be enjoyed inside the metaverse. And in which direction that goes, it's really like we want to, speaking for the Sandbox, we really want to provide a platform that is completely open, whether it's a game experience, whether it's a concert, whether it's a museum, whether it's a social hangout, a house, or anything really. And that's something where we see the attention is there. And I see this is only going to be like over the next couple of months more and more persistent.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. In regards to the development and how we're going to move into this space, all the little building blocks that we have now are setting us really up to have a complete new way of existing, not just playfully. I mean, of course, the gamification aspect makes it extra attractive because who doesn't like to play, right? But in general, I think people that deal with creativity, like I'm an artist, so of course this is really exciting to me, because what does this mean? I could be in the digital space, I could be anywhere in the world and still host concerts regardless of what's going on outside, right? That's a stream, that's a revenue that is never going to be lost. This is potential to connect with people that might not have the privilege to travel to places, or even register their business, or even register their IP. Now they are in a space where they can openly pursue their interests, right? And also protect themselves. So I think that's really interesting for sure.
Yeah, and we already see a lot of it's going to be a different conversation in 5 years because it's going to be much more established. But we already see that there's new job opportunities and revenue streams being opened up for the Sandbox. We have in our Gitbook, like we have a category that's called Creators for Hires, which is a list of I think 10 small teams and creators that are specialized on building experiences for the metaverse, and that are not bound to a certain criteria. And you have digital real estate, you have digital artists, you have like community manager DAO, like the classical job strings, but also new ones that are being created. And it's one part of the Sandbox as well of our vision is to create new revenue opportunities. That goes beyond play to earn, but that really goes to building your own IP, your own brand, and having something that is a viable business model, which is already the case, but also bringing this further. And of course, there is the whole play to earn component that is a big motivator, because talking again about the alpha, so sorry to bring this up again, but one part of the alpha will be an alpha pass where we're gonna introduce some type of play to earn mechanics where if you hold a pass, you can earn up to 1,000 cent, which is a lot. And this is just by engaging with the platform and playing games. And if when I think back when I was a teenager and someone would have told me I can earn through playing, I would have done that a lot. So it's going to be very exciting as well to see.
Of course, we are opening the next generation up. We're setting them up for something that is beyond our current understanding. When I say our current understanding, I mean what we mainstream believe, right? You have to go to school, you have to finish school. Of course, that's amazing. She did that. Kudos to you. Then you have to find a job, and then you have to earn your place in life, right? So I feel like us stepping into the metaverse will break down so many notions that have been toxic and have stunted our growth and development. And seeing Sandbox take such an initiative in general is, of course, amazing and to be applauded.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, by the way, I was having some connection issues. Nice to see you here. Nice to see so many people like on this Twitter Spaces. I'm the co-founder of Metagame Hub, and just to add my 2 cents to this, seeing all this development of like play to earn and metaverses, it's like really motivating. Because I see that Web3 is really going to change everything and the way we interact in the internet. Like if you take a look at the development of the internet, how it started like in a very decentralized way, right? Like you had these open protocols where everybody could actually upload their information, like they could show their websites and their companies, and that started centralizing with Web 2, right? Like with social networks, you got all these big companies that started like monopolizing the way we interact on the internet. And when I see Web3 coming, like with this counter movement of like started by, of course, Satoshi, and then with Vitalik, and now with everybody, I see. I mean, it's just amazing. It just motivates me because I see that we're bringing ownership back to the people, right? Like what Marcus was saying. He was saying, of course, giving the creators and the builders the possibility to actually own things, right? And it's something that we hadn't seen before, and it's just very disruptive. So it's just like the beginning of everything. I'm super excited. But yeah. Go ahead. One thing that I wanted to actually bring on the table, and it could be the next topic. Maybe it would be something for you, Andy. You've been writing a lot about MetaFi, and we at Metagame Hub are actually really focused on that because we see that there is a big new layer of GDP coming, of pretty much digitally native value. And it's actually very important to have the infrastructure for that digitally native value, and and actually set the groundwork so it can really work and can really grow exponentially. So as I said, you've been writing a lot about MetaFi. What is your take on this, and how do you approach it, Andy?
Hey man, good to see you again, man. I just very coincidentally this morning I was actually giving a short keynote speech at a Vietnam Chief Finance Officer CFO forum this morning. So I had a chance to speak to one of the top bankers in a very big bank. We were talking about MetaFi, or what I like to use like is a Metaverse Fi, that kind of a topic. The traditional bankers are actually fairly alarmed at the rate, how the metaverse are changing, how the different metaverses are changing the landscape. They are worried that, there will be really big banks, that will reside on the metaverse, doing all the different DeFi stuff and so forth. And they might, they might get into some maybe some pressure, from the HQ to do something very similar or take part in what Sandbox, is trying to build. So I think that kind of a pressure or that kind of a urge, is actually something very promising, in my humble opinion. Reason being is if we can grow as much, hype it as much, market as much during this period of time, and get the traditional guys, banking guys, worried about what should be coming next, I think that is a good success. Again, I must say that Sandbox has played a big part in creating that whole marketplace, that whole hype. And again, coming back to the space that we are talking about right now, Metaverse. Some of the speaker rightfully mentioned that many of us are still stuck in the mindset of having a gallery in the Metaverse, maybe doing some homework on Metaverse, playing some games on Metaverse. But as we move along, we have to understand that Metaverse is another world that we can play, earn, and do a lot of different activities together on a similar piece of land that is virtually available. And I was even telling one of my friends, if I wanted to order some fried chicken or pizza, I could actually order in the Metaverse and get them to deliver to us. Perhaps that's something that would really come on very, very soon. So I see the economy is growing. In metaverses, I see that the cryptocurrency is playing a very big part in this whole development. So I want to be very honest about it. I hope to see a lot more sandboxes. I hope to see a lot more DAOs, a lot more new players to step up, to make sure that the whole place is competitive and the whole place is fun. And trust me, man, if we can make the banks sweat a bit more, pressure them a bit more, we are actually doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I completely agree with you, and it's like it's like a digitally native value, right? So it's super scalable. We're talking about software economies, and then we're talking about token economies, which can grow exponentially. So I think they will get very scared in that regard. One thing that I've been seeing in the last couple of days, and this is to you, Mark. I've been seeing the French chart you've been posting of those like kind of complicated DeFi moves to actually generate yield. Do you imagine like doing a French chart in the future for metaverses and like in play to earn games, like with LPs and switching around tokens?
It's actually already happened. I did one on Avegochi, which is a gamified metaverse on top of Polygon, which is based on the Aave protocol, but is so much more an independent team. And I think more and more strategy can be defined in that way on top of play to earn game that can be optimized. One example on top of my head is that one of the popular metaverse game we have out there is DeFi Kingdoms, and there's good ways to optimize the yield strategy on this game. Also, Axie Infinity, obviously, the most popular one out there. And as the ecosystem grows and more opportunities happen, more and more people will basically create economies on top of those metaverse. And that's not something brand new. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to remember Second Life. I don't know if you guys remember Second Life, but it was like a network with their own currency, the Linden token, something like that, and their own economy. You can build a house, have a job, and all these kind of things in the game. And those currency was convertible to actual USD. So what we are building is something more seamless, more developed that was tried 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I've heard that from quite some people now, the Second Life also comparison. And right. So we're definitely in the right direction when it comes to the value creation there. Another aspect that personally also I find interesting, and here the question would go to you, Manan, kind of in what way do you see the metaverse converging with the Dataverse in that sense? Do you hear us, Manan?
I think we've lost a soldier. He's here.
Hello?
Yes,
Nicholas?
we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, connection issues here as well. Yeah, so the way I see this, or at least according to me, what we'll see in the coming years or even like months is Today, games like Sandbox and Decentraland and every other metaverse player is kind of a metaverse Lego, right? The same way that we saw DeFi Legos being set up by Aave and others in like 2020, early 2020, and then there was a convergence and integrations that happened with different protocols launching on top, and we'll see something similar in here too, where there will be bridges between different games, and there will be some integrations. Meta Game Hub is doing one of them by integrating over Sandbox and creating a valuation tool for lands and other NFTs. So we'll see a lot of convergence going on in the metaverse, and data will be one of the primitives that will also be very, very, very utilized in the coming times. One of the utilization would be the NFT oracles. So one of the reasons right now we don't see a lot of DeFi and NFT merger is because of the illiquid NFTs or the valuation of the NFTs, right? But with the right tools and with the right data sets, you can create, or you can actually find a fair price of a particular NFTs. Right now, everyone is just jumping on the floor prices, but probably floor price is not the right metric to find the NFTs. And with enough data, if you can find a fair price, then that Lego can be used to converge DeFi and Metaverse. And most likely we'll see that as well in the coming future.
Yeah, I think,
Manan,
I think that... Oh, go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Nice to hear that. That's basically exactly what we are doing at MGH right now, right? With the NFT valuation tool, we are having this AI algorithm, right? And we are currently evaluating sandbox lands of that and bring this data then on chain through a Chainlink node. So that and potential DeFi protocols, for example, could use this NFT valuation data to not anymore use, for example, like you said, the floor price, which is very unfair if you have a very valuable sandbox land, for example, and you want to collateralize a loan with it, right? So that's exactly what we are doing right now at MGH. So glad to hear that from you as well. Yes. So Camilo, sure, go ahead now.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment regarding the floor price, because it's actually a very interesting topic. I mean, we're in a bull market, so floor prices are not, quite low, right? So one of the things that we're experiencing with the valuation tool is that in some cases the prices that are being generated by the algorithm are sometimes below or lower than the floor price, right? So that's actually a very interesting discussion to really move away from that, and just from that a price that is being set, of course, by the market, which is, a very important factor. But if we start having like tools to value those assets and really finding a price that is set by like all the different variables that are put into the algorithm, I think it would be interesting to see how that's going to develop, because as of now, we're just focused, as Manan said, on the floor price, and that could lead to some frictions in terms of determining the fair price of an NFT or an asset in general. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about, we have Bian on the call as well, and he's a lawyer. Metagame would like to talk about a bit, like, what are the legal aspects of the metaverse? How do you see it, like, when we have disputes in the metaverse about some issues? How it's that going to develop in the next couple of years?
Yeah, thank you, Camilo. So that's a pretty interesting question. So maybe I will start like introducing myself. So I think I skipped that. So just like everybody knows, I'm Bian. I'm a lawyer in that space. I'm like in crypto, especially since like 2016, 2015, 2016, and like my advisory focus was always like especially on DAOs and now like NFTs and how to legally structure them and of course, all the classical financial market stuff, but mainly DAOs now. So regarding like Web3 and NFTs, legally, I think what is really interesting is to see if also like from a legal side, we will see the developments that also like legal claims will be connected to NFTs, because at the moment we are like mainly focused to have just like a value which gives the market to them, but we don't really have a legal claim regarding to NFT. You just have a legal claim when there's like a contract or what the like founder of the NFT connects to them. So I think from a legal perspective at the moment, it's hard to say if you really have like a property regarding an NFT. Of course, on the blockchain you have the property, but if you connect some like real value to it, it will be this right just with the NFT, right, to replicate it. So I think we will see in the future also that lawmakers will try to also get that in the legal framework, right? To have like to create like some kind of tools to also make it taxable and to also give on one side a security regarding the NFT, that you really have a legal ownership, that you can also make like if there's a dispute over an NFT, that you can go in front of a judge and say, all right, it's really my property, and that like real property on the blockchain is also connected to legal property, right, with NFTs. So interesting to see, and also I think that this also NFTs, especially if they like replicate some kind of market value, if it can be seen as a security, right? And I hope, and I try like when I advise, like for example, the European Commission regarding the regulation of NFTs, I think it would be like a bad idea to see it as a security with all the regulation that comes with it, because I think it should at the final be like legally looked at it as art, right? And that it's just ownership and property, but in some cases it could also be like some derivative structure. So it will be also interesting to see like from a legal side how it involves, because as I know at the moment there's like very knowledge how to like legally do it, especially with IP rights and ownership rights and all this kind of stuff. I hope I didn't kill the fun here on the space.
No, you didn't. You could never.
No, I mean,
You could never. It's fine.
Advising the startup, it's always like killing the fun from the people, right? Because you always, can we do that? We cannot do that and stuff like that. So
no, but I think it's a super interesting conversation, because we dream a lot here, and I mean we are super creative and come up with new ideas, and sometimes like of course against the system a bit, right? But at the end of the day, you gotta cope with regulation in a sense, right? So it will be interesting to see how that's going to develop.
I mean, in regards to regulations and law, we can look at how the world works in general, right? The more people are going to get comfortable in the metaverse, the more regulations are going to catch up. They're going to find a way to manage the situation. That's just how it's going to be. But the opportunity here is that we already thought ahead a little bit, because we are trying to grow beyond the system that is confining us, right? So all the solutions that we're coming up with are solutions that are beyond their scope at this point. And when it's time again to evolve, I believe in our need for innovation, and I believe in our quest for true freedom and decentralization. So I think we'll find solutions that will, the same way we 50 years ago, 100 years ago, this might have been a concept that is it's too far to grasp, right? Now we're having these conversations. We are seeing it in real time. We are evolving. So when the time comes and regulations are stricter, there will be a different way of operating, but it will be decentralized. And as long as we keep that spirit and we keep that innovation and we keep asking these questions and also building the bridges with each other, because we're way stronger as a community and we're looking out for all these little question marks, we'll have to deal with it one step at a time. So no, you're not killing the fun, never killing the fun. This is a real conversation that needs to be had and will continue to be had. So we're not surprised by anything that happens. We should all actively be looking for entry points that could be used to kind of centralize the metaverse again, or to veer it off to what it potentially could be. But I just want to say this: don't be scared because of regulations, right? At some point, if you ask someone who made their license in the 70s and you ask someone last week, it's completely different. You know, it's tougher to get a license now than it used to be, but people still get them. That's my take on that.
And I think for most of the part, you're right.
Yes,
Regulation will. Sorry, Bian, go on.
I was just gonna quick jump in and said I'm totally right. I think she's totally right, and the key is always decentralized. As we have more decentralization, regulation gets harder, and lawmakers don't have any chance to kill the innovation with the law. So that's of course not legal advice, but I think as we all hear for like the focus on decentralization, I think that's also the key to be innovative and to not like get killed by the regulations, because if you don't have like a central entity which is controlling everything, it's really hard to enforce law on it. And it's fully decentralized, there's like no one person which could be held liable for everything. So full and proper decentralization is really the key in innovation, I think, especially in this space.
I mean, for this, we really have to look, the whole problem is our definition of law and regulations, because let's look at it in the last centuries, so to speak, that has been the blueprint for the regulations, for the laws. So when we're talking about regulations in like a decentralized world now, we have really to start from scratch, from zero, because most people are trying to use the same blueprints of regulations of the decentralized world, so to speak, here, but it will never work, right? And we're going to fight for this. We're going to fight for us not falling back in the decentralized way, so to speak.
Yeah, there is also one other angle, actually, apart from decentralization, is to create a new category of tokens.
On what does it really mean, like law here in this space? Because it's gonna have a different vision from like the centralized old school regulations.
Yeah, of course. I also think there needs to be new approaches, right? As you said, like the old law approach was always like about centralization and always having some kind of entity. But the biggest issue that we already see with like DAOs, like which laws is applicable for them? Like they're running on the blockchain like everywhere and nowhere in the world. Like which jurisdiction is going to be used for them? So I think, as you said, like the lawmakers, and it will be interesting to see if they will be forced to do that kind of development, that you will see that it will be more like global laws, that it's not going to be like every jurisdiction has their own laws, but that there will be like global laws maybe for DAOs or for other decentralized entities. And I hope in that space that really like the crypto space can also like reach the hand out and give advice to try to have influence, right, on this topic. Because if you just like have the idea to always try to avoid the regulation, there will always come a point where it's like no way around it. So I think it would be good also for the crypto space to reach out on that and help to get an influence how lawmakers will also try to regulate these entities, and so we can keep the freedom and also like the decentralization in a proper way, which also makes it possible to have some kind of protection for investors and consumers, right? Because what we also see in crypto are rug pulls and people who don't have then any chance like to get anything back. So I think we need like a good balance that, and really kind of an try to have regulators or lawmakers not to think that have a broader approach and not just like hunt everything down and try to regulate it how CeFi is regulated, right? So we will see how that works out.
Yeah, the thing is, many regulations are based on old school models, right? That are super I mean, you can forget about them because they are based on some fundamentals that don't apply anymore with this like internet revolution, right? But Manan, you wanted to say something. I think Yusuf interrupted
Yeah.
you
So
partially.
yeah. So I just wanted to comment on like it will be very difficult for the regulators to catch up with the ongoing innovation in the space. I mean, one of the other ways apart from the decentralization, as Bian mentioned, is to also create a new category of token, right? So, I mean, it's not it's not very difficult to create, a new category of token. I mean, of course, everyone is innovating here, and someone will just do it. And I already see some projects with the conditional NFTs and nested NFTs and other type of innovations. So yeah, if you just launch a new category of token apart from NFT or ERC20, then again, it takes a couple of years for the regulators to catch up with that. So there are multiple ways, and a lot of innovation going like horizontally and vertically. And yeah, it's very difficult for the regulators to catch up on the current innovation rate.
Yeah, I do agree with this. Having giving advice to different government, I've realized that a lot of government do not even have a good way to regulate DeFi products. So if we are going to add in things like DAO or Metaverse scenario, I think it's going to take a long time for them to catch up. So the best thing to do actually right now is not just about new level of tokens or new governance token and so forth. I think, being part of the crypto industry, I think we have to exercise some form of self-regulation. That's number one. Number two is we should also constantly communicate with regulators to update them on some of the progresses that is in the space. Have some of these communication sessions with them so that they actually know that we are not here, like cowboys. Some of them, they still have the perception that, the crypto space guys are just a bunch of people who are just trying to rip off everyone else. So I think if we have constant communication and so forth with this with the regulators, a lot of this perception can be greatly reduced. And and again, a lot of our speakers and listeners right here, a lot of them are also hiding behind a lot of these avatars, profile pictures, and so forth. In order for us to grow, there's another way that we should also consider by stepping up, revealing who we are, and try to speak the truth. That's one way for us to go mainstream, and that's also a way for us to be a lot more legit, in the eyes of the regulators. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, Andy. Open communication is key. I feel like I don't think I have personally had two conversations with anyone that doesn't try and use crypto for the good of development or for the good of community. I think the very DNA of seeking knowledge, seeking innovation, it comes kind of hand in hand. Of course, there are exceptions, but it kind of comes hand in hand with solving a problem, which means if we do have these open conversations and we explain the processes are or what the purpose behind it is, it can of course accelerate regulations because then they actually are catching up because they are getting guidance and understanding and getting live updates. But on the other hand, I feel certain regions in the world, for example, that could lead to more development, more innovation, more funding, and maybe a new structure for the legacy systems that we then end up having a hybrid world where legacy doesn't. I mean, Camilo said something really interesting. He said all the old regulations and all the old concepts, they're dead and gone. But it's the same concept reimagined for the people, right? So it's something that we've been seeking for centuries. We have been seeking. Democracy is not a new concept. but we have figured out a better way to do it. We figured out a faster way to do it. We figured out a more transparent way to do it. So now that we have it, how do we prove that this is better than what we had before? By keeping true to the path, by having the conversations, as you said, and by showing our cards to a certain extent. I'm, for example, worried that we end up in conversations with people that depend on the legacy systems a little too much to actually care of not removing it or evolving it, right? Because it does cut out the middleman. It does cut out different hierarchies that also have their own structures. So I think in the crypto space, that's where the wall is thin wall, where it's like we see in New World, what are we going to do? How are we going to mix together? I don't think that we will ever have a uniform answer or uniform solution for every region in the world, because just world history and how we deal with democracy and innovation is completely different from country to country sometimes. But I do hope that it's more positive, because DAO for me represent a possibility in collaborating and the technology that's around it, including, the stepping into the virtual world with the metaverse and existing there and not being confined by standards that might have conflicted with your growth outside. For example, your age, your location. Those are things that really harm people. Citizenship. These are things that have people climbing on boats, right? But now we're in a space where in the metaverse it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. If you have an internet connection, if you are willing to learn, to read. And I think us moving into that time as a people, I think that's the exciting part. Now, of course, we can go into the nitty and gritty of tokens and governance, but what does it all really boil down to? Why would anyone care? Why is mainstream adoption going to be happening regardless of what regulation is doing, regardless of whether we're having a conversation or not? Simply because as people, we've been seeking this. So yes, let's figure out how to constantly keep the conversation going and open the doors, but let's also not forget why we are here. This is not something we just came up with. This is something that we inherited it and we evolved it. And that's why this space to me is exciting.
Absolutely.
But
Basil wanted to say something. Jean, could you?
Yeah, hey guys, what's up? Actually, I have a question, but before my question, I just want to say something like highlight what Metagame said. This is important. You mentioned something about borders. Like, I come originally from Syria. I'm a doctor, and I live currently in Germany. So as a Syrian person who lived in a country that has war and so on, the passport loses its value. It becomes harder and harder for you to apply it to other countries, to go to visit them, to go there, because they see you as a person coming from a country of war, a country of instability. So the visa consultant wouldn't look at you as a person who wants to get a visa. He looks at you as a person who wants to go there and get, to apply for as a refugee. So using the metaverse would be awesome for people from such countries to, be able to interact with people outside this country. Because if you're living in such a country, you wouldn't be able to interact with a lot of people outside the country because you're still in that country and no one comes to that country of war. So I appreciate what you said about that. I think the applications will be so high for the metaverse, like online education. I've already worked on national online education projects, and I see the metaverse is a really, really good and fertile environment for such projects. And also you can make, since I'm a doctor, I'm trying to apply what I work in, you can make actual hospitals, but, for consultations and so on. The doctor can sometimes give small consultations for non-life threatening things, and I believe it's a good application. However, the third application, it coincides with my question to you, and you look like you have experience in the metaverse or metaverse platforms. And my question is, I've been contacted by multiple platforms. They are new platforms. They're not like the known ones. And I hold concerts usually on spaces here. I feature new musicians, NFT musicians, so to say. And I've been contacted by multiple platforms to do concerts on their metaverses, let's say. How do I choose the right one? What are the criteria of a good metaverse platform?
Okay, before I take the question, does anyone want to answer this? Because I feel like I have been speaking quite a lot. No? Okay. How do you choose which metaverse is right for you? I think that question is going to come up more and more often as time goes by. I think you should look at the community, right? Look at what they're building. What do they care about? What do they talk about? The same way no one can pick your friends for you, no one can pick your metaverse for you, right? The goal is to, at the end of the day, be in that digital space where you are comfortable, where you are confident, where you feel like you belong. There is no person in the world that can tell you where you belong more than you. I would always choose something that is decentralized, something that is community focused. But then we also live in a time where, because of marketing, everyone says the same thing about being community focused. So then you can look at the founders, you can look at the team that is working on it, you can look at the community that is talking about it. What are some of the milestones they've accomplished? And if they don't have any milestones because they're still in their grassroots phase, then what is their goal? What does their white paper say, for example? Okay, what are the kind of questions that are being asked? What is important to you moving into that space? I think that's the first question that you should ask yourself. And once you know what is important to you, you also know what you can live with and what you can live without, or what you need to actually be comfortable in the metaverse, or what kind of resources, what kind of conversations do you need to have, you know? So the first thing is, what do you want out of the metaverse?
So aside from like you, all of what you mentioned, thanks a lot, were subjective criteria, except for one that I heard from you. And I was asking about the non-subjective criteria. For example, you mentioned something important. You said it's decentral. It should be decentralized. So thank you for that. But does anyone else have more non-subjective criteria, like being a decentralized metaverse, something like that? I'll be more than glad to receive advice from you guys.
Well, it also depends what you are searching by getting into the metaverse or getting into this new world, because not all the metaverses are regarding from decentralization are the same in what they are offering. If you're going more in a gaming vision or like a decentralized commerce vision, or more into like socializing, so the different metaverses are going to have different focuses on what is going on there. So it's not going to be just virtual worlds, but really hubs for different niches. So you should be asking yourself, what are you then looking for? Are you looking for building something for like a company, maybe like a advertising your
no, it's
your company for building something,
it's
or
more
you
to
want
host
to
the
play?
concerts that I host on the spaces, because we've got good traffic on the spaces so far, and we're trying to think for the future to move to a metaverse from the how do you say it, from the offers that we received. And I haven't chosen one yet because, as I said, I really need to think carefully before jumping into the next level of these NFT music concerts.
Okay, so how about we do this? My account is Jean Fire, so Jean, I don't know if you see, I'm wearing jeans. You can follow me and I'll send you my email, or and then you can send it to me and I can look at it and we can get on a call and break it down together. I make music myself, so I feel like there could be synergies there. But at this point, if I don't know what your options are, I can't really tell you beyond that.
Okay.
I hope that kind of helps.
Okay. So the thing is, in case you want to see what I'm talking about, after 7 hours from now, like the concert will be, it's every Friday. So after several hours from now, you can come and check and tell me what do you think. For example, which platform would be the best for me to. I mean, as I said, I have no experience or whatsoever with metaverses. I only buy little stuff or coins from them, but I never bought any land so far or any club. So that was my question: how to pick a good metaverse.
That's okay. Send the stuff. I'm sure the rest of the initiators would love to pull up as well. But beyond that, welcome to the space. Happy for your questions.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Also, I just want to ask, Sebastien is here. Is the founder of Sandbox the Metaverse or Sandbox just the game? I DM'd him the question, but he doesn't follow me, so probably he didn't see it.
Well, I think technically both, since historically Sandbox as a franchise started as a mobile game in 2012. So we co-founded that game originally on iOS and Android. And since 2018, we've been building Sandbox, the open metaverse, as a platform now, which incorporates those creation tools and this virtual gaming virtual world.
Oh, nice. And how far are you? How progredient are you? Or how advanced are you so far with the whole project? What are the updates so far?
We're really into an alpha phase, I would say. We have launched so far the different creation tool on the platform, VoxEdit or 3D editor, the marketplace, the game maker, which is a no-code software, the map. All of them are accessible and regularly updated in alpha or beta stage. And what we are going to open next week on Monday 29th is the alpha season, which will give a first taste of our intention of play to earn for any landowners. It will consist into a 20 days long event closing on December 20th. With 4 public hubs accessible to just anyone, where you just can use their avatar, socialize, chat, dance, do various activities, and get the chance to win drops of alpha tickets every day. I'll explain what it is. And then if you own an alpha ticket, which is an NFT, you can access 18 more experiences, multiplayer, single player. And as you progress, you come, you play, you complete some of those quests, 9 different quests to be found overall. You will be able to claim free NFTs as well as up to 1,000 sand as reward. So in total, we have 5,000 tickets, so 5 million sand in reward. As of today's rate, that's almost $7,000 you can earn by engaging with this event, which we think is really a meaningful amount of money for anyone in the world, not just like whether you're in Europe, Asia, or US. If you just engage, you can actually turn really your playtime into a revenue or a salary this way.
So, I think you found the metaverse you are looking for.
Yeah, me? Yeah, I found it. So, Sebastien, can we please talk about this more in the DM? Or like, can we talk about how, I have some more questions. Can I DM you?
Yes, of course. I'll try my best. I always try my best to answer everyone. Just apologize if it's not same day or same hour. And I've been seeing extended. A great amount of interest recently has been overwhelming us, but we'll try also to be focused on this milestone of alpha, and afterwards it will get all back to normal.
Nice.
To be honest, it'd be more than awesome to collaborate with you, man. So yeah, I just followed you. I'll continue on the DM. Thanks a lot, guys.
You're welcome, man.
Sure.
Thank you very much for everything so far. I think we gotta wrap it up really quickly, but before we go, we talked about like the scope of the metaverse. We talked about MetaFi and how finance can be included into this whole discussion. And we talked about data and the Dataverse. And we talked about law. We talked about like what are the good characteristics of a metaverse. But there's one thing that we really missed, which is key, and it's what is the metaverse. And to wrap it up, I would like you guys to quickly, just if you would have to explain it to your grandma, just a brief explanation of what the metaverse is. Who wants to go first? We'll do a quick round of the speakers, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, guys? Thank you.
Okay, who wanna start, or can I just start?
I can.
For me, then I just go ahead. For me, the metaverse is basically the next way of social interaction. Like we have now social media like Facebook, Twitter, and stuff, right? Like 2-dimensional social media, And the metaverse or the open metaverse is for me then the next way of social interaction, so to say, social media, right? So you can say it's like social media 2.0 then. Yes. Yusuf, then okay, go next.
Nice, Lucas. For me, I share a bit the same vision, just that for me, it's way more than just virtual world or such, but the metaverse is also the time and the moment where our virtual assets or the time we spent virtually in our encounters gets then more above what we have or what we possess in the real world, like we are living in. And that is then what I call the metaverse. It's really the moment where what we have like digitally, the assets or like crypto or like for friends or time is more than in the real world. Then we are in the metaverse. That's yeah.
Okay, I think if I'm going to explain this to my grandma, I would just say that this would be a second world. It is a world when she passed away and her soul, her concept and everything will still stay within the metaverse and she lives forever. So that's my version of a metaverse.
Nice.
For me,
Sounds crazy though.
I'll actually just simplify that. So for me, if I would be explaining it to my parents or my grandmom, then I would say it's kind of like a Facebook, but in this world, when you play Candy Crush Saga, you keep all the candies to yourself. You don't have to give it to anyone else. So basically, it's about social interaction, but also ownership of whatever value you created in that interaction. Yeah, instead of giving the value to the middleman like Facebook and other networks.
Thank you, Manan.
No, definitely, I think that's a great point there, man. And I think kind of that convergence with social media and kind of the intuitive tools that they already know from Web2 could be like a good approach. And I would explain it, kind of explaining them the respective tools that they know. My grandma, for instance, uses WhatsApp, so I could maybe start with this, like a digital ecosystem of communication, and then kind of scaling it further toward, kind of the notion of a digital ecosystem of value that, in the best case, when it's an open metaverse, is decentralized, right? And kind of utilizing that approach with the comparisons to existing systems. But yeah, happy also to hear your take, Sebastien. Didn't want to cut you off, so yeah, let us know what your take is on what the metaverse is.
Well, if it's for your grandmother, I would go with ultra simple definition. Imagine it's a digital parallel world where us can experience all sorts of more social and immersive interaction wherever we are in the world, whatever. We can choose our identity, we can play, we can collaborate, we can enjoy virtual shows, virtual concerts, art galleries. We can earn a revenue through it, and it will be fun.
And borderless.
Exactly. A place with a lot of culture where you can encounter people who are thousands of kilometers away and share more together, share exciting moments together.
Yeah, I think that's then a great closing word. I'm not sure. I think, Camilo, you are the last one to give your explanation of the metaverse. And then, yeah, I think it was a great and awesome conversation, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Can I have a quick question from Meta Game? She said she has another account. Is that Jean, the one that I followed?
Yes, Jean. You can follow that account. And yes, just send me the email. Let me know. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But Camilo, take it away, and then I'll close the room. It was a pleasure hosting everyone. Thank you so much for joining and giving your time and your ear and your information. we are very grateful.
We are about to forget Camilo, I think. Camilo, do you want to share your definition?
We are all waiting for you.
So, if I would have to explain it to my grandma, I would say, Grandma, the metaverse is a place on the internet where you can watch your favorite movies, play your favorite games, listen to your favorite artists, and just do all the activities you like with your people and friends in a seamless way. That's how it
without paying.
So thank you very much, everybody. It was a super interesting conversation. I hope we can have it again in the future because Web3 is really disruptive, and I think
Okay, guys.
we need to spread out the word. And sorry, go ahead, Jean.
No, my network cut off, so I thought it was just quiet. Never mind, speak.
So yeah, but that's all I wanted to say. So guys, thank you very much. See you on the next Twitter Spaces with Meta Game Hub, and don't forget to try out our valuation tool. We're improving it every day. If you are interested in sandbox lands, please go ahead and check it out on our website. You will be able to see like what the prices are and what the fair valuations are for that. It's going to be a very relevant tool in the future. So just check it out. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Have a great day.
Thanks for the
Bye-bye.
conversation. See you guys.
Yeah. We really didn't feel the time, right? Like more than an hour passed. And then next time we'll cover more about data. We have a lot to cover from that side. See you, everyone.